Favorite here at the Absolute Comedy. Go nuts and welcome to the stage, Simon Seline. Simon!
How much more Chinese can you get right here? Oops, I am a bouncer. I can't kick your ass, but I can run really fast and get help. I remember one time I was standing next to another bouncer. He was 6'10", 250 pounds, a real monolith of a man. And I went up to him and I said, "I'm a bouncer too." He looked down upon me with eyes of fire and a fury that came out slow, and he goes, "Shut the fuck up!" No, I'm from Ottawa, but haven't always lived in Ottawa. I used to live in Oklahoma City. I remember I got all kinds of really silly questions. But one of them I remember was, "So you're from Canada? Well, which part?" And I said, "I'm from Ottawa." And they said, "Oh, Ottawa. So where in Toronto is that?" "Oh, it's just up the street. It has a tree." I was reading an article and said that Ottawa is the greenest national capital in the entire world. And in the very same article, the city of Amsterdam strongly disagreed. Love that one. And I was actually in China, and I was brought there by two promoters who I hadn't met before. We corresponded by email, and they said to me the greatest instructions. They said, when you get to China, all you have to do is look for the two Asian guys. So I told them, great, very specific. And I said to them, well, all you have to look for, my friend and I, are the two white guys. And they said, you guys were really easy to find. And we said, we know. Another thing I saw in China was totally crazy was when they had this sign. It was a no smoking sign, but it just had the red circle and a line through it. But what it was a picture of a trumpet on the side of the street. And I was just thinking, how big of a trumpeting problem do they have that they have to have signs posted everywhere? And they had cops lined up the streets, and then it turns out it meant no honking. The honking is so bad in China that you hear a honk every 7 seconds. And I know, that is terrible. I just told them, well, here, well, actually we got nothing. You guys win 7 seconds of honking. That is crazy. And actually the city we went to was Shanghai. And I bought a book on China, which was, the book said, Southwest China. What I failed to realize is that Shanghai is in the northeast of China. So I was reading my book and there was absolutely no entries on Shanghai. I was like, crap. So it's pretty much the equivalent of buying a book about Ottawa when you're going to Vancouver. Actually, I was doing some traveling a few years ago. I went to Argentina. And in Argentina, they have the world's widest street. It is 16 lanes wide. And I was standing at one end of the street thinking, how drunk would I have to be to try and jaywalk this? Next thing you know, it was a human game of Frogger. Oh yeah, no, actually, I am also an actor, believe it or not. And I was in a movie with another fellow thespian named Sasha Grey. For those of you who are unenlightened, Sasha Grey is a very famous porn star. She's made over 120 adult films by the age of 20. Yeah, that's more than 2 a week. And 1 horror film. You can guess the one I was in. Another acting story actually was I was cast in a play as a World War II badass soldier, because I clearly have the body of one. And I remember the director said, okay, all you need for this role, Simon, is to get a gun. And I'm like, oh, right. And we want a big giant rifle. So I thought, right. And the only place I could think of to get this gun was my old high school. So I called the drama department and said, hey, Mr. Evans, this is Simon. And he's like, oh, hey, how's it going? Listen, I need a gun. And he said to me, oh, all right, perfect, come on down. That's when I heard the background, well, he hasn't changed. And that's when I got to the high school and they handed me the rifle. I was like, this is awesome, it's so lifelike. And that's when I was walking down the hallway of my high school holding this thing, waving to old teachers. Hey, Mrs. Smith, I told you I'd be back. That's right, you always thought I graduated, didn't you? And then it got worse because then I got onto the bus and saw my friend Matt, and Matt said to me, "Hey Simon, how's it going?" I'm like, "Hey, how's it going?" He's like, "So where'd you just come from?" "Oh, high school." "Okay, where are you going now?" "Oh, to work." Okay. Now, another actually interesting story about Ottawa was I had a friend come up here from Texas. And she and I are old friends, we've known each other for 10 years. And I brought her to the Parliament Hill. And I was so excited, I kept telling her, "Oh man, I'm going to show you the cats of Parliament Hill." Do you guys know about the cats of Parliament Hill? Yeah, it's a very cool tourist attraction. So I kept telling her all about the cats of Parliament Hill, all about it. And then when we got there, they were all groundhogs. 5, 6 groundhogs. And she looked at me and she said, "Is that what you Canadians think cats are? Didn't you grow up with a cat? I mean, they're obviously beavers." And Skylar said, "Yes, they are." Alright, well, I'm going to end on this note though. I haven't always been a bouncer. I remember my first job was in the airport. It was at the Virgin Records store. And I still remember the job interview to this day. They looked at me and said, "You're perfect. You're exactly what we're looking for." And that's when they gave me a shirt with the word "Virgin" stripped across the front. Alright, we'll bring Lamont back up, and thanks very much, everybody.